What's good? It's your boy Tab Money, and today I'm gonna talk about why big tech companies are doubling down on the metaverse. Including Fortnite. They say they're doubling down on the metaverse, and also Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is doubling down on the metaverse. Now, I just want to explain this though, man. Even though the reason why they're doubling down on the metaverse is because everybody's going back to their regular lives. The pandemic is over. People want to go back to live in this world and the physical things in it, and, become of this world. You know what I mean? So what I'm basically trying to say is that even though, I'm gonna put it like this, I'm gonna have to put a little bit of business out there, but it's not that serious though. But when I was a kid, though, when me and my friends, when we was playing Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, but the 3D version of Mario games on the GameCube and the 64, specifically the GameCube, I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is when we was playing those video games and stuff, we all of us came up with our idea that if we pass away or go into the afterlife, you know what I'm saying, we will end up in these video game worlds or live in these video game worlds. So me and my friends in my neighborhood, we had this strong imagination that we wanted to live in a video game world. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it came to my friends, we were all kids. You know what I'm saying? We was not adults or teenagers, but we were basically all kids because we was playing Sonic the Hedgehog, basically Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario games. But all of us, it was many of us, but it was all of us. We came up with this idea that if we pass away or live in a video game world, I said we get to live in a video game world. Now, even though my friends didn't take it serious, I'm the only one that took it serious. You know what I'm saying? I was really fantasizing and really dreaming of living in a virtual world. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, when we started, since we started becoming preteens and stuff, like becoming teenagers and stuff, majority of my friends, they let go of that fantasy. You know what I'm saying? They let go of that fantasy of living in a virtual world, living in a video game world like Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog. You know what I'm saying? We started to let go of that because, not us, I didn't let go of it, but my friends did. You know what I'm saying? Whole nine yards. But for me, I didn't let that go because when I played, video games and stuff, I always dream of living in a video game world, basically living inside a video game world. And when it really come down to it, though, when my friends let go of that, I never let go of that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't let go of it until around the time when I turned at least 14, or basically when I turned 15, when I got into that street life and music and stuff. Also doing cigarettes and weed and ecstasy pills. You know what I'm saying? That's when I really let go of the living in a virtual world, and I stopped playing video games around that time as well. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. But at the same time, we started believing in that around when I was like 10 or 11. You know what I'm saying? But it left out of me around 15 or so when I started getting into other lifestyles and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it was a strong belief and a strong dedication I had within myself that I wanted to live in a virtual world, live in a video game world. So basically, why when the metaverse, I know people wondering what made you so obsessed with the metaverse, and even though big tech companies are turning their backs on the metaverse, you know what I'm saying? The reason why big tech companies are turning their back on the metaverse because when it comes to the majority of people in this world, you know what I'm saying? They used to going place physically, going to restaurants and going to the movie theaters, going to a place where they can meet physical humans and becoming of this world and stuff. You know what I mean? And when I got into that street life, you know what I'm saying, when I started smoking weed and cigarettes and stuff, you know what I'm saying, whole nine yards, I mean, when it came down to the females I was trying to mess with, and also the friends I have, they wasn't really genuine. They wasn't really, really serious, and it wasn't really, wasn't really, yeah, I know it was a street life type of thing, but when it comes to my friends in my neighborhood and, friends I had when I was a kid, what I'm saying, they were good friends and all, even though we had our days when we, got into it with each other and stuff like that. But when it came down to us, fantasizing, living in a video game world, particularly Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog, what I'm saying, we always dream of living in a virtual world. Well, my friends, they probably didn't take it serious, but I took it serious though. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. But the reason why I let go of this fantasy, just how I let go of playing video games, because it wasn't getting me nowhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. I mean, not getting me nowhere in the world, but nowhere in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because people, like my dad said, I remember my dad told me, playing video games and stuff is so boring, it's a waste of time. But my dad, he's a baby boomer. He didn't grow up in a time when video games was how it is today. He, you know what I'm saying, whole 9 yards. My father, he always thought that video games was boring. He thought video games were just so boring. But how video games are boring, and you watch movies, and you know, so he don't watch cartoons, but he watch movies and stuff. That can be, you know, it's similar to watching movies, but in a video game, you controlling that person. You can control the outcome of that video game. You know what I'm saying? Whole 9 yards. So even though big tech companies are doubling down on the metaverse and not, you know what I'm saying, turning it back on the metaverse, when it comes down to someone like me who have a stronger belief, because you gotta understand, when I was a kid, when I, you know the little flower things that you make a wish to, even them fairy things, it's not, you know, the white fairy, they call it a fairy, but you make wishes on it. Anything you can make a wish on, even throwing a penny into the water and make a wish. You know what I'm saying? The main wish I was always wishing was when I was a kid, all the way to my preteens, I always wished to live in a video game world. You know what I'm saying? Ever since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Even though Metaverse is a virtual world, but that's what's more, even if it's a virtual world, it considers the video game world as well. But, you know, you got to understand, a video game, when it comes to the virtual video games, it's a mixture of cartoon and reality put together. And what I mean by reality, I'm talking about the real world we're living in. And what I mean by cartoon, you know, anime and stuff, it's a smash, like a big bang. It puts together, you know, both realities together. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to the virtual sense of the virtual world, or the video games in general, especially the video games and stuff we have today, you know, virtual are really a mixture of anime and reality put together. It's like, if you want to know what cartoon and reality will look like, a video game is a perfect example of what it will look like. Because if you play like you know, so like Elder Rings and Dark Souls, I'm particularly talking about those games when it comes to having supernatural powers, and also fighting games and stuff, and shooting games and stuff. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the virtual world is a mixture of anime and reality together. You know what I'm saying? Which bring the both worlds together, and you have the virtual world. But yeah, when I was a kid, I stayed wishing, instead of wishing to have better friends or having a girlfriend, because I went in with my sister, when she make wishes and stuff, she was wishing having a better man, but at the same time, she, you know, she did find a man, but it wasn't the man of her dreams. But hey, I ain't tripping. That's her choice. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, when it came to my personal wishes and what I want to wish to have, I wish to really live in a video game or a virtual world. You know what I'm saying? I always wished to live in a virtual world since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Whole 9 yards. Then later on in life, I think it was around 2007, 2008, I discovered Second Life. And thank God Second Life is finally coming to mobile, even though they've been around since 2001. I think it's, 2001 or 2003. You know what I'm saying? They never came out with a mobile app, but Roblox, they came out with a mobile app and stuff like that. But, you know, the main thing I'm trying to say is that, for me to wanting to live in a virtual world, or basically in the metaverse, you know what I'm saying? I always dream of that since I was a kid. You know, Second Life has got, you know what I'm saying? Second Life was the first virtual worlds that I got into. It is a metaverse, but it's the actual world that I got into back in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? When I was 17 at the time, but you know, I got into Second Life. And when I was, you know what I'm saying, even though my mom's computer was slow because it had hella viruses and stuff, but I got deep into Second Life, you know what I'm saying? So as I was playing Second Life, even though it was so slow and everything, but I enjoyed myself playing Second Life, you know what I'm saying, back in them times. But since it was only on PC, see, I try to play Second Life on my Mac computer, but due to my Apple mouse, you know what I'm saying, you can't do it. It's not like a PC mouse, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't just do certain things on my Mac computer with my mouse, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that it's coming in mobile, though, you know what I'm saying? Once Second Life is coming to mobile, you know what I'm saying, I am going to get that subscription where you got to pay each month to gain some Linden dollars and stuff like that. I'm really going to invest into Second Life. I know you wonder, what about Fortnite? Well, since I did some research that it's so easy to get banned from Fortnite, I'm only going to use Fortnite for video game purposes or gameplay purposes. You know what I'm saying? Even though, but at the same time, Epic Games already came out and with an article on the Google News that they're saying that they're doubling down on the metaverse. This is the simple fact that other tech companies are doubling down on the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm trying to say is that I always dream of living in a virtual world since I was a kid. It started with PlayStation though. It started with the original PlayStation. Like really, my first console was Sega though. You know what I'm saying? My very first one, I had the Sega handheld. I forgot what it's called. The Sega. I forgot what the handheld called, but I had a Sega. I was really into Sega. You know what I'm saying? Like Sega was really big at the time. I was playing with Sega when I was like 4 years old. That's when I really started playing with Sega. So Sega was my first console and Nintendo. So I had Nintendo. Basically, back in the 90s, I had every game console that ever came out. My dad was really buying these consoles for me, and my parents were the main ones that was getting me into gaming. You know what I'm saying? Whole nine yards. They didn't mean like as soon as I started playing with toys, I started getting into video games. You know what I'm saying? Whole nine yards. But what really made me to want to live in the video game world is when the 3D era came out. Then when the original PlayStation came out. You know what I'm saying? When I saw the 3D games, I mean, at that time, even though graphics today look so amazing and so realistic, back in those days, I thought it was realistic, though. I thought it was like, damn, I thought it was the best graphics they ever came out with. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid, though, so in my mind, I never thought that graphics would enhance like it is today. I didn't know that video games will become like it is today. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm trying to say is when I first got my original PlayStation and playing them 3D type of games, the 3D worlds and stuff, it's definitely when I was playing Super Mario 64 and all these other games and hearing the music in it. You know what I'm saying? I started becoming obsessed with the virtual world. I started becoming obsessed with the real video game worlds itself. When I was playing Kingdom Hearts, you know what I'm saying? I started being obsessed with the Kingdom Hearts video games. You know what I'm saying? Just how beautiful, amazing the worlds look at that point. Whole nine yards. So, around this time when I was you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this type of belief of living in a video game world or a virtual world, this belief was stuck with me for a very long time. Not a very long time, but now it's back in. This belief is back in me now because of the concept and the existence and the word metaverse. You know what I'm saying? The metaverse is basically the definition of those who want to have a second life in the virtual world. You know what I mean? Whole nine yards. And I always had this dream since I was a kid, all the way up to when I was 15, when I got into that street life, got into music, but basically the street life though. But it didn't work out for me. When I was trying to become of this world, it didn't work out for me. And when you become of this world, you taking that atheistic approach of living for the world and stuff like that. If you live for the physical world and stuff, you're only limited to what you can do. You got to make sacrifices if you want to have certain things in life that you want to be brought up on. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is you're only limited to what you can have in this world. Whole nine yards. But when I look deep into artificial intelligence and AI and stuff and blockchain, cryptocurrencies and stuff, when I look deep into stuff like this, you know what I'm saying? Now you got the Fed Now coin, Fed Now being created. And since Fed Now is being created, you know what I'm saying, our money is going to go digital and stuff. So basically, we are approaching the digital era. But when it comes to the virtual worlds and the metaverses and stuff, they're only going to have in-game tokens. Like Omniverse, NVIDIA Omniverse, they already said that crypto is not going to be fully popular in the Omniverse ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be about in-game tokens when it really come down to it. So when it come down to it, yes, AI is going to take over, majority of the jobs here in America and around the world. But the main thing is the only way that people can make a living is either become a YouTuber or someone that's on the internet making you. That's why there's so many people on YouTube doing relationship advice, doing all these type of things on their channels and getting hella subscribers and stuff like that. But also, it will be another option. You can become a gamer. I remember when Amazon, was promoting Luna and stuff. They had it in their the Luna pay web page talking about in the near future, everybody in the world is going to become a gamer. Because the only way that people is going to make a living is if they become gamers, or become of the metaverse. Whole nine yards. So basically, people are going to move into the virtual worlds. You know what I mean? Whole nine yards. But at the same time, nobody's going to force you, though. Because, people will have a choice. Either you become of this world or become of the digital world. When you become of this world, that's atheistic. And when you become of the digital world, that's techno-theistic. You know what I'm saying? So techno-theism is really focused on technology and basically artificial intelligence. But it really is deep-rooted into the digital world or the virtual worlds, or basically the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? Techno-theism is probably, it's a term I came up with, but it's probably been used for a while, but I just came up with it within my own third eye or my own, third eye chakra. But when it really come down to it though, when it comes to the metaverse in general, it's a dream come true when I first heard about it. Like when Mark Zuckerberg, he was the first one that pushed it out there, you know what I'm saying? Push the kind of, even though Neil Stevenson, put the word in his book, Snow Crash, Mark Zuckerberg was the one that really brought up the work. I really wasn't really reading books. I don't read novel books or fiction books that much. Majority of books I read is New Age, occult, or esoteric books. You know what I'm saying? Those are the majority of books that I read. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to fiction novels and stuff like that, I really don't read those type of books. But what I'm trying to say is that ever since Mark Zuckerberg came up with the concept of the metaverse and brought up the concept of the metaverse and how we can own things in our digital space and have our own digital home, our own digital NFTs and all these type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? At first, I didn't get it at first when I first read about it. I know if you watch one of my past videos when I was doing my worship to the Orishas, you know what I'm saying? I was, kind of speaking against it because I didn't understand it at first. But at the same time, I thought that Facebook was going to be the only ones dominating the metaverse world. You know what I'm saying? Whole 9 yards. But when I started thinking to myself, I'm like, hold on, Second Life is a metaverse. Minecraft is a metaverse. World of Warcraft, that's even a metaverse, even though it's a role-playing game, but it's an open world where you're surrounded by other players. And Phil Spencer, my hero, the CEO, the Xbox savior, he even said that people been in the metaverse for over 30 years by playing these role-playing games and being online with other people, basically being in the digital space. And seeing how Street Fighter 6 is moving towards the metaverse by adding the Battle Hub and the War Tour and stuff like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is that it's a dream come true seeing something like this coming into existence. And what I mean by that is that when I was a kid, I always dreamed of living in a virtual world, create your own avatar, create an avatar that looks like you or look the opposite or look this and that, you know what I'm saying, or creating when it comes down to Second Life or Minecraft or any of those on your virtual world games, and Second Life's not a game, but when it comes to Minecraft and Roblox and stuff, creating your own virtual world and stuff, even Fortnite, you can create your own island and stuff. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this the metaverse is the Matrix itself, in the digital sense. Like, if you look at Unreal Engine 5, the graphics of Unreal Engine 5, how powerful their graphics are within that engine, you know what I'm saying? It's going to come to a point where the metaverse is going to be fully realistic, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be artificial. Basically, it's going to be full-fledged artificial. When you got augmented reality is bringing the digital world into the physical, either through implants in your eyes or through the glasses or anything. Because by the year 2050, everybody's going to be a cyborg. Everybody's going to be half human, half machine. You know what I'm saying? Like when I play games like Cyberpunk, I just bought Cyberpunk. I only play on my Xbox One S for right now. But when I play the game Cyberpunk, and look at how amazing the game looked. And also when I got into my apartment, I was watching this TV on the Cyberpunk. There was this lady talking about how people can upload their consciousness into the computer chip or whatever. And there was this Catholic dude talking about, no, you can't do that. We're supposed to do it by God's law and stuff like that. I mean, it was a trip watching on the TV and stuff how they explain, how they were debating and, how someone can upload their consciousness into a virtual world to someone that's want to, pass away and live in either heaven or hell. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this is a dream come true, and I'm not turning my back on the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? I am going to write books about the metaverse. I know I'm writing so many books right now, but I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been writing books yet because my Apple computer, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's got a virus or something, but sometimes my Apple computer runs kind of funny and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It runs kind of slow. You know what I'm saying? My Wi-Fi is not connected to my Apple computer because if my Wi-Fi is connected to my Apple computer, it will start shutting off and the screen will go black and stuff like that. So it's going to be a while when I write books and stuff on my Apple computer. But once I do, I am going to write a book about the metaverse and how it's important to become of the digital world if you're that type of person that don't want to become of the physical world. You know, because when it comes down to people who want to become of the physical world, they're only limited to what they can do in the physical world. But when it comes to the digital world, and also things don't last that long in the physical world. Like my childhood friends, the friends I had in my childhood, we're not friends no more. None of us is not friends no more. I mean, some of us related through marriage, not some only one, but we are, we're not friends. We're not cool no more. You know what I'm saying? But And when it comes to friends I had in my street life, we definitely not cool no more. I don't think we ever gonna be cool or hang out no more. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the friends I had in this physical world, I'm not friends with no more. You know what I'm saying? It didn't last that long. The girlfriends I had in this world, it didn't last that long either. It didn't even last, it only lasted for 1 or 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like I never been in a really long term relationship with a female because it never works out later on in the months or even weeks and days. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, yours. You can say I'm socially awkward, but at the same time I'm very spiritual. But I know for a fact when I sense that energy that I know you're not the right person for me, I'll really just let you go because I'm not trying to make the same mistake my dad did when he met my mom. My dad died, my mom was the woman for her. You know what I'm saying? When she gave birth to my sister, everything was cool. But once she gave birth to me, that's when my mom's attitude started to switch up. And that's when my dad started seeing my mom, a totally different person to the point where she's a bit autistic and slow and stuff. Whole nine yards. My dad didn't like that at all. It was really pissing my dad off how my mom was acting after she gave birth to me. So when it comes down to that, when I study that in my own mind, how my mom switched up on my dad, because one of my mom's old friends, she's a godmom to her daughter. She was telling me that my mom was never like how she is today. Back in the days, way before she even had me. You know what I'm saying? When she had my sister, she said my mom was cool. But when my mom had me, though, that's when she started acting autistic or acting different and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to risk, being with a female or having a family with a female due to the food we eat and the things we watch and stuff. I mean, I already got a low sperm count, and due to the infection I had on my balls, what I'm saying, that's the one thing why I just can't really have kids. You know what I'm saying? I basically can't have kids. But the main thing I want to say is that I do want to transfer my soul into the digital world, basically the metaverse, and be a representative of the metaverse. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that they're already talking about developing a technology to where they can transfer someone's soul into the digital world when it comes to their last breath on Earth, or coming to their death and stuff. Like I wouldn't mind living in the metaverse because why? Ever since I was a kid, I always dream of living in the metaverse. Basically the video game world when I was a kid. So you gotta understand before when I stopped playing with toys, I picked up the controller and started playing video games. You know what I'm saying? I started playing Sega and Nintendo a lot. Then when PlayStation came to the view, when PlayStation brought it into the 3D world type of view, that's when I started dreaming and fantasizing. I used to go in the bathroom with the fan on and the light on. I just being in my head, fantasizing being I remember when GTA 3 came out, I started fantasizing living in that world. When GTA Vice City came out, I started fantasizing living in that world. And I was a kid back then. My mom, she didn't know them games was for older people who are mature. But my mom, she was buying me them GTA games. I'm gonna be honest with you. My mom she brought me GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas. You know what I'm saying? She brought me all those games, GTA games around them time. You know what I'm saying? I was playing Tekken and I was playing Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? When I was playing all these games when I was a teenager, and not a teenager, but when I was a kid, all the way to my preteens, anything that you can make a wish on, you a wishing well, a plant that you can blow, that you can make a wish. I always wish of living in a video game world because of how amazing it look and how amazing it be. Like when I come home from school or when I don't want to go to school, when I get on my PlayStation, I always play Crash Bandicoot, either 1 or 2, and even 3. So when I was a kid, I always play Crash Bandicoot. I mean, I got the remaster or the trilogy version on my Xbox. But man, due to how difficult it plays, I mean, it's difficult to play it. But basically what I want to let y'all know is that even though big tech companies are turning their back on the metaverse, doesn't mean they're giving up on the metaverse. You got to understand there's a such thing as a carbon footprint, to the point where if you got too much carbon footprint, you know what I'm saying, eventually you're going to have to stay in the house, in order for your carbon footprint to recover. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean is, if you're in a house waiting for your carbon footprint to recover, the only thing you can do is play a virtual world video game or be in the metaverse. So I don't know if they're gonna build carbon footprints in the metaverse, but if you're in a digital world, in a digital environment, you know what I'm saying? Let's hope you don't make have carbon footprints in the digital world. But the thing about it is, once the metaverse is fully open to the public, multitude of metaverses. I mean, we already got Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft, and Second Life. But basically, when all these other metaverses are created, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to mobile devices, because not everybody got a PC. And when it comes to having Apple devices, not an Apple device, but a Mac computer and stuff, and a Mac laptop, and it's nothing like PC laptops and computers. So if they come to mobile devices, you know, what I'm saying, I got a Samsung Tab S7. You know what I'm saying? I usually use my Tab S7 to use mobile games. Like even though Decentraland had a big event, a bigger fashion event, and there was barely no people there, because the reason why there was barely no people into the Decentraland fashion event is because people are basically back to living a regular life. You know what I'm saying? Because when this pandemic lasts for 2 years, and now we ain't gotta wear a mask no more. Now we can live a normal life. But basically, what I'm really trying to say is that even though we back to living a regular life now, I'm not gonna let go of the concept or dream of living or being part of the metaverse or living your life in the meta or having a second life in the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to have a second life in the metaverse. I want to live inside the metaverse to the point where I want them to transfer my soul into the digital world while I live among the artificial intelligence. And not only that, the reason why the reason why they switching metaverse to artificial intelligence is only AI can develop the metaverse itself and enhance the metaverse. Why? Because only AI, just like in the astral planes in the spirit realm, only the spirits themselves can govern the spirit realm. So when it comes to the metaverse or the virtual worlds, only they can govern and rule over the digital world, artificial intelligence. So if they work hard in generation and quantum computer and super intelligence and stuff, they can really develop and master and create the metaverse itself. You know what I mean? So basically what I'm trying to say is that with artificial intelligence itself, you know what I'm saying, can really make magic and really can make miracles of developing and really making the virtual realms and the worlds more bigger and more wider. You know what I'm saying? More wider, I mean. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. Like when the Omniverse come into the public, you know what I'm saying? Like right now they're looking for developers to develop the Omniverse. But the main thing I like about the Omniverse, I might basically become a citizen of Omniverse. Why? Because they're gonna have a digital twin of this Earth. You know what I'm saying? Once AI is fully developed and have a full copy of this whole planet Earth, get a copy of this full physical Earth and duplicate it into the digital world and make it in a virtual sense to where people can roam through it freely and make games out of these worlds freely, out of these physical digital worlds freely. Just imagine what type of things that Omniverse can create and how many alien worlds and realms they get put into the Omniverse as well. Hold on, y'all. Even though it's not too much information about that on Google News of what Omniverse is trying to develop with this twin Earth, or the digital twin, I mean. But, basically what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to give up hope on the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. I'm not trying to become this physical world, and I don't want to become this physical world. Like I said, I already become the spiritual and the digital. When it comes to the spiritual, that's my personal path. But when it comes to the digital, I see myself having a big career of becoming a metaverse guru, becoming a metaverse, pioneer, speaking the philosophy of what it's like to become of the digital world, or basically the metaverse or virtual world. Because like I said, the virtual world is a mixture of anime and reality put together. You know what I'm saying? It's smashed together like a Big Bang Theory. You put cartoonish and real world reality put together. You have video game worlds, or basically the virtual worlds. You know what I'm saying? So even though big tech companies are doubling down or turning back on the metaverse and strictly focus on artificial intelligence, you gotta understand, once artificial intelligence is fully intelligent enough to really create these virtual worlds on their own and really make it, and also create it faster and quicker, you gotta understand artificial intelligence is gonna be like the God, the creator God of these digital worlds. In the way that fits everybody's imaginations and fantasies and stuff. It's like when you go to sleep at night, you dream at night, you know what I'm saying? You in a dream world, right? But in the dream world, you see things that you won't be able to see in the real world. Like I had I wear my nicotine patches at night, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to cut down my cigarette smoke. But when I wear these nicotine patches and go to sleep at night, I have very vivid dreams. I had a very powerful, vivid dream last night. And I seen people with cat heads and stuff, and I was in the streets and too. I mean, I always dream about being in the streets for some reason, but I was dreaming I was in the streets in these different parts of these lands and stuff, in these alien places, and it was so crazy, but it was so amazing and vivid how it was. So, you know what I'm saying, looking at the metaverse as a dream world, as a way that, you know, you enter your, like having, you know, entering a dream world when you go to sleep, that's what a metaverse concept is supposed to be. But what I'm basically trying to say is that I mean, I'm going to be a metaverse guru. I am going to have a video game career on my channel. And not only that, but majority of the videos I'm going to be putting out now is going to be metaverse based articles that I'm going to read for y'all, and also video game gameplays like one Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. I am going to still going to play Call of Duty for y'all. I am going to still play Fortnite. And also I'm going to get into Apex Legends and many other multiplayer games. Because the terabyte I got in my Series S, you know what I'm saying, I'm only going to play multiplayer video games. You know what I'm saying? When I get a next terabyte, that's going to be strictly for role-playing or campaign games. And also, I'm going to stream that for y'all, too. But the first campaign video game I'm going to play for y'all is Street Fighter 6 War Tour. You know what I'm saying? I am going to stream it for y'all and put it on my YouTube channel and create a personal playlist for that alone. But you know, one thing I want to say, though, is that even though I'm saying all this, you gotta understand though, man. You ain't gotta make this choice. If you obsessed of living in a physical world, if you're obsessed with your physical appearance, you know, if you're obsessed with physical Jordans and, you know, expensive clothes and stuff, if you're obsessed of really becoming of this world, I ain't got nothing against that. That's your choice. That's your decision. You know what I'm saying? I have my own choices. I have my own decision. And I'd rather become of the digital world. Why? Because ever since I was a kid, started with my friends in my neighborhood that I grew, you know, that I'm not friends with no more, but when I was friends with in the neighborhood, when we was playing video games, specifically Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, all of us came up with this idea of living in a virtual world. We all came up with this idea of really living in a video game world. You know what I'm saying? But even though my friends didn't take it serious, I was the only one that took it serious because I really wanted to live in a video game world like Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario and stuff. Whole nine yards. That always been my dream. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm trying to say is that, you know what I'm saying, you have your own choices if you want to live in a virtual world or not. But when it comes down to me, I'd rather live in a virtual world than this physical world. I already become of the virtual world than the physical world. Because in the virtual world, anything is possible. Your imaginations, your fantasies can be really out of this ordinary. But that's what I want to say. So this your boy Tab, man. I finished all I would say. This ain't my last video talking about the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? There's many things I want to say, but I can't think of it right now. I don't know why it'd be like that when I record videos. Because as soon as I'm done, done recording it, that's when ideas pop in my head. I don't know why my mind acts like that, but that's how my mind acts like that. I know I'm repeating myself too, but I'm just trying to give you a clear example of why I'm not letting go of the metaverse. I'm not letting go of the virtual worlds and me wanting to live in a virtual world. And that's all I got to say, so peace.